Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Alan Kraszewski. I happen to be a news anchor and news reporter here at ABC7 Chicago, as you might be able to see with all the logos I've got behind me this evening as I'm sitting here on our news set. But I'm happy to join you for this panel discussion. And we have several parents joining me now from Metropolitan DuPage's early learning programs. And all of these women are also leaders among their parenting peers. And I'd like to just take a moment to introduce them first to you here. First of all, Nicole Tellez. Nicole is a full-time. Hi, Nicole. Yep, Nicole is a full-time working mom. She actually has her own business. She has 5 children, including a daughter with a 3.9 GPA. She has another child that is currently in special education, and also one who has Asperger's syndrome. She is currently the president of Metropolitan DuPage's Early Learning Policy Council, and she's also has served in the past as the president of the Parent Committee and a leader in the Parent Cafe, which, as some of you may know, is the online network for Metropolitan DuPage's early learning families, and she is a representative of Metropolitan's Head Start Oversight Board. So Nicole, welcome. It's great to have you here. Hannah Stage. Hannah, hi there. Good to see you. Hannah is currently a parent at the Addison Children's Center, or ACC, as people refer to it. Her older son went to ACC and then attended Head Start at the Army Trail location. Her youngest has then been at ACC since he was a baby, but he'll be turning 3 years old this summer, and he'll be transitioning to the Army Trail Head Start in the fall. Hannah, it's great to have you with us. Thanks so much for joining us. Tanya Viramontes. Hi, Tanya. How you doing? Yep, Tanya has 2 daughters. They're currently in the elementary school level. She is also a member of Metropolitan's early learning staff. She started as a program aide and then obtained her preschool child development associate degree with Metropolitan, and now is serving as a teacher assistant. Thanks, Tanya. It's great to have you here. And Jocelyn Melendez. Jocelyn, hi. Jocelyn started as the parent of 2 children. Well, she's still the parent of 2 children, but anyway, they started in Metropolitan's early Head Start program back in 2019. But then she joined Metropolitan DuPage's staff as a program aide. That was actually during that same year, and then decided to pursue a career in preschool education. She completed her child development associate degree during this COVID pandemic that we've all been through. And she was working at the same time at 2 of Metropolitan's early learning program sites. And this year, then, she was recently promoted to be a teacher. And in fact, she is now teaching at the very school that she attended as a child, which is really cool, Jocelyn. So it's great to have you with us tonight. All right, well, that's our panel for our discussion. And it's so great to have all of you here. And it's going to be kind of just a very casual discussion that we're going to have here, because we really want to find out how Metropolitan DuPage has impacted your lives, and of course impacted the lives of your children and the lives of others. So many of you are involved in either teaching roles or staff roles or some form of roles in terms of ongoing support of what Metropolitan DuPage is all about. So I'm sure you'll be able to fill us in on all of that. And Nicole, I'm going to start with you tonight, since we introduced you first. I'd like to know, when you think about it, how are currently Metropolitan's learning services really helping your kids when it comes to their growth, their educational development, everything they're going through? What would you say?
I think overall, the programs that are giving, there's such a variety of programs that, not all of them are suitable for every single family, but there's programs that they offer that really bring in families to say, oh, you know what, I really need that for my family, whether it's nutrition, mental behavior, resources, educational purposes, learning behaviors as well. That in itself has really impacted the way I approach my children as a mother, but also helping them develop, for their current ages. So the girls I have are twins, they're 5, and I get to help the programs that are offered. I get to help implement that to my girls at that current age. And I've seen a success with their growth, with their development. So I really have to say overall, the programs that they offer is not just 1 or 2, there's several that can be for, every single one could be for one household or just a few. So I would have to just say that.
Is that your choice as a parent then, as to which programs you take advantage of that Metropolitan DuPage is currently offering? Do you get the opportunity? Do others decide that when they have a chance to evaluate what your kids need? How does that work?
Well, some of the programs are already in there. So what we do is every month we have a family meeting. So we try to get the community of all the parents that have their children at school to come together once a month. And we just kind of discuss what's going on with the school, where our short-term, long-term goals are going, what programs that we're trying to implement. And then what we like to do at the end is we like to do like a little activity. So we have had somebody from the outside come out as a nutritionist and give us great ideas for families on the go that don't have time to cook. She gave us great recipes for breakfast, great recipes for dinner, something simple, healthy, nutritional, especially if you know, don't have an hour in the kitchen like most of us don't to prep a meal. We've also had a counselor come on for the mental behavioral side for parents that are going through PTSD or children that have ADHD or depression, anxiety. And she came on after the meeting and gave us some great tips, some tricks, useful resources to help parents. So it's not just we get to choose, some are already implemented, which is great because some of us parents don't have the courage to raise our hand and say, you know what, I need this program. But when it's put in front of you, you kind of just take advantage of it.
Hannah, have you taken advantage of these programs in a similar way?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean with my kids it's different because I mean it's more like another school for them, you know, and the different things that they have been doing with my children, I can see the difference. And it helps so much. I mean, my little guy who has literally been there since, I think Jason was only a few months old. He has progressed so much and he has turned into quite a character. And I really, really wholeheartedly think that these girls, the teachers at Metropolitan, have helped him be the little guy that he is. I mean, for the girls that have worked with him, I mean, you've seen the progression in him, you know.
You kind of wonder, okay, if it was not available, if it wasn't available, what kind of a difference would that make in your life and the life of your kids, do you think?
During the process of like right now, if we were to personally ask me on different levels, I mean, I do have a different life and a lot of the girls know what I have been going through. I've been going through a lot of traumatic situations. If it wasn't for, I do apologize if I get a little emotional. If it wasn't for these girls and what they have done, not only for me and my children, because there's been 2 that have gone to the school. I don't think I could see it going any other way with anybody else with the help that they have showed me and I've gotten through the company. I mean, it's really hard to explain my situation.
And you don't feel like you need to get so personal if you don't wish to, okay? But I can tell from what you're telling me, I'm hearing from the first time without getting into specifics, that what's being offered here is truly foundational for oh my goodness, as a parent, getting by. Let's just use those kind of words. For getting by day to day with the stresses we've all faced, and some more than others, I know, but over this past year and maybe even more so, some related to COVID, some may not even be related to the pandemic. But I'm hearing that from you in your honesty.
Yeah. The program helped a lot and it still continues to help a lot. I appreciate what this program gives to other people, including myself. They got a good thing going. Sorry.
No, it's all right. All right, I'll give you a break there, Hannah. We'll come back again though, and thank you. I just want to tell you thank you right now. You know what? Hey, I'm a parent too. And when it comes to our kids, there's nothing more important to us. I'm sure you'd all agree. You want the best for their lives. You want them to develop as well as they possibly can. You want to do your best as a parent. And there are areas, me as a dad, that I know that I could never do alone. I would never be able to accomplish it all alone, you know? Tanya, I'm sorry, I'm supposed to be talking to you guys. I'm not supposed to be giving you but Tanya, jump in here and just to share your experience and maybe, and I know you have your two daughters in elementary school now. Tell me what you've seen in terms of the progress they've made and just your involvement. I know you're a teacher assistant as well. Go ahead.
So I had my older one, she went there for 3 years. It really did help her a lot because she was very shy, just not wanting to talk to a lot of the kids. But it did help her grow her self-esteem. Now she talks more, she has that confidence. Sometimes it's still a little, rough on the side, but she's just grown a lot. My little one, she was actually born premature at 29 weeks. So she needed those extra services, speech, just more language for her. So Head Start did help with that. We got her into speech. She still continues to receive services now. So it's just been, it was a nice experience. Working there as well has been a very nice experience because I do get to now, interact with other parents and get to know other parents. And sometimes they're going through the same thing we all are going through. And you don't know that until, you actually have parents talking to you and telling you, I'm going through the same situation. What did you do? So it's been good.
I'm listening as I listen to all of you, and Jocelyn, I'm going to bring you in too. So be ready. I'm coming your way. These are not textbook things. These are human things. You know what I'm saying? And Jocelyn, just help me out here a little bit. That wasn't a question. I know it was more of a statement. But tell me what you've experienced. We were just talking about the Head Start program, for instance, and I know that your two kids began in the Head Start program, right, at Metropolitan?
Yes, my little girl she's 3 years old now. She started when she was 7 months. And I do see a difference not only for our kids, but as parents too. For example, at Edison's Children's Center, they do a program that's called Parents Cafe. And it's for parents to come together. And even with the pandemic going on, we meet up through Zoom and we're like drinking our coffee, talking about life, just getting our thoughts out there just from and forget about always being home with this pandemic. So that's also helped me. And for my daughter, I've seen a big difference that when she first started at ACC, she right away qualified for speech therapy. But once she was there for about a month or two, speech therapy was not an option. She was talking. She also I noticed that teachers know how to teach them manners. And I love that the most because sometimes us as parents, we don't have the time to be teaching them that, 24/7. We're so stuck in work or doing other things that sometimes we don't even try to correct them. So that's one thing I've noticed in my daughter. And with my little guy that he just turned a year old, he started when he was 3 months old. I see a big difference. So since he was a baby, they started teaching him, the right way. He's talking a little, he started walking at a very early age at 8 months. And I just think that program makes them really intelligent, really smart.
And I'm hearing you say, and I think others have mentioned this too, we tend to think of it, okay, services for the children, but you're talking about, and I want to get into this a little bit more, services for the parents, that like you mentioned, Jocelyn, just having a chance to talk with people who are going through the same things that you're going through. Maybe they've dealt with, maybe they have an idea, maybe they have a way that they've managed to cope with something, or maybe they've had a suggestion, or maybe you're willing to even offer them, have you experienced that too? Ideas and just where people are assisting each other?
Yes, for example, we do have moms that are going through some stuff, like I said, with the pandemic, that they're so tired of being home, stuck home, not being able to follow their lives. So sometimes we just talk about life. Like I said, it's called Cafe Parents. So we're literally sitting there with our coffee and just talking to each other.
Yeah, definitely what Jocelyn was saying. When we started the Parent Cafe, it as I was crying a little bit earlier when Hannah was talking too, because I definitely feel the Parent Cafe allows all the parents to get together and just air out all the problems. But the good thing about it is that we share exactly the same thing, whatever we're going through. And that's what I love about Metropolitan, because it's not just focused on the children, it's also focused on the families itself, whether you're a single mom, you're married, 1, 2, 5 kids, we have grandparents that are guardians. It focuses on the whole entire household. It is not just designed for children to just go to school, learn. It's also, oh, hey, let's also remember about the families, the parents, because they are the backbone to these kids. They're the ones that are advocating for the kids. They're supporting their kids at home. And yes, we all go through a lot. And it's great to have programs that are open like that, and just social networking, whether it's resources or just talking to support worker, or even just talking to their teachers, about what's going on with their child. And I couldn't honestly be more happy. And I agree with everybody that, spoke earlier. I definitely feel that they have tremendously impacted everyone's lives, but especially mine. Being a single mom definitely impacted it.
Does Metropolitan Family Services, I'm hearing a lot of the type of advisory roles, the communal efforts with people coming together, like a parents cafe. Are there resources available for helping out with, for instance, with employment or with financial matters or that sort of thing?
Absolutely. Everything that you can think of, jobs, finances. I know a lot of people lost their jobs to COVID. They definitely stepped up to help. Diaper, we have a diaper program. They have supplied hundreds and hundreds of diapers and wipes to families with younger children. Transportation, we've had families that have lost their cars. They supply transportations, counselors, support workers, helping you with taxes, from the littlest thing to the biggest thing. They have a whole full circle of every aspect that you can think of in someone's life that they would go through.
I'm not going to call it a safety net, but I am going to call it a structure of some form that exists, that we all need that sometime. We all need the ability to turn to somebody and say, what do I do about this? I'm in a fix. I can't find the child care, or my child is having a difficult time with this particular issue, whatever it might be. Who do I turn to get answers for this? Do you find the individuals who have answers, or at least can direct you to the right people?
Pre-Metropolitan? Oh yeah, absolutely. I didn't know who to call.
Yeah.
Go to your county, go to your
right. Yeah.
community,
where do you
township.
go for all this? Yeah.
I didn't know where to go. I mean, I went on Google.
Mm-hmm.
But going into Metropolitan, it's just one phone call, support worker. Everybody has a support worker. You just tell them what's going on, and it's personal. It's safe. No, they're not going to share your information. They're just going to say, okay, look, we have something for you. Try this route. See if this helps your family. But the good thing is, even when they give you those referrals, they check in with you after to see if those referrals work, or if you need something else, if you need some more assistance. So they don't just stop at just say, oh, here's a list of all the food pantries in the area. They'll come to you and say, hey, were you able to get food? Do you need more? Is there something else we can provide you with? And I love that, because it just doesn't stop at one point. It keeps going until those parents are satisfied, and the support workers are satisfied.
Tanya, let me ask you, just to pick up on where Nicole left off here, the importance of that personal connection that somebody would have with Metropolitan DuPage. And another thing, Nicole, that stuck in my mind too, was how you're talking about the very personal essences of things that you're going through. I mean, my gosh, it doesn't get more personal than what your family's dealing with at any particular moment in time. But Tanya, just weigh in on the importance of knowing that you have somebody who can keep your confidence, but also be able to provide you with assistance.
That helped a lot also, because I suffer from a chronic kidney disease. So I've suffered from that for about 8 years now. And having that extra support from someone where I could call and say, you know what, I don't have the financial assistance to be able to pay like a monthly bill, or I don't feel well for my kids to go to school. Like, that social worker was always on top of either having activities for her or for both of my kids, and just still providing education while I had to be out, and even working with them. I've been working from home since December of 2020 because of my condition. So that has also been a lot of help because I still reach out to the social worker actually, because there's times where I still don't know where to get certain information, or I look for information and I can't find it. And being able to, had been a parent at Metropolitan and also an employee does help a lot, because you get the extra services that you need.
Wonderful. Hannah, let me come back to you and just ask you if you could weigh in on what we're talking about in terms of just the connection that you have with, maybe it's an individual, maybe it's more than one person, and how important that is to you. And just make sure your microphone's on too so we can hear you.
I have a very good, strong connection with all the girls that deal with my children. We'll go with my little guy for right now because he's the one that's currently in their school. I can come to these girls with just about anything. It didn't matter if it was financial, if I had to deal with my older child, or even the little guy that I have. I do have 3 boys altogether. This place, the Metropolitan Services, everything that they have helped me per se and provided for me or whatnot, along with the strong connections that I have with these girls, that I feel like it's not just a staff and adult bond. It's like they're my friends. They're my girlfriends, I can come to them about anything and not feel judged, and if I did need help, they were there. They're here for me, and I think that's the one thing that I got really into with this program. It wasn't that, they could help me with what I needed. They were just overall all around awesome,
I mean, I loved it, what you said. I loved when you said they're my girlfriends, and I can look at all the faces on the screen, and all of them are beaming at the fact that you said that. It's a wonderful way to put it, but it boils down to, honestly, if I can draw a distinction between people who provide you with information because they're simply an authority, okay? But now you've got people who are providing you with help and assistance or information who care about you, okay? They care about you, and it's not just because they feel like they should. They care about you because they want to, and it's genuineness. I guess maybe that's the word I'm searching for, is people who are genuinely caring for you. That's what I hear you describing anyway.
That's exactly what it is. It really is. I mean,
I as well have a really strong connection with all the teachers at ACC where my kids attend. Not the fact that I started as a parent, then I went in as a coworker, so that made me even closer with them. They got to know a little about my life, my personal life, and then now I went into a preschool as being a teacher, and they still know me, so I think that connection still stayed with them. But now they do see me as back as a parent again, and that's totally okay. But I just love how that connection stayed. Both my social workers from the infant room and my other social worker from the toddler room, they still call me about twice a week just to see how's it going at home, if I have any changes, if everything's still normal. And that makes me feel really good because that makes me know like that they're there for me, that they're caring not only about my kids, but about what's going on in my house. It definitely makes people feel loved and that you're important to them.
Yeah, that's a great word too. Going back to what Hannah was saying too, Jocelyn, let me ask you too. And I don't mean this to be an odd question because you have to be a teacher too. But so I'm kind of wondering, were there difficulties in finding? Were there difficulties in finding a quality educational experience for your children? And if so, what did you deal with before you even got to Metropolitan's door?
You know what? To be honest, I got to know about it from a family member that they were taking, well, he's my nephew, that they were taking him there. And I never heard of Metropolitan Family Services. So I do think that it was God sending it to me because it definitely has helped me a lot. How I said it, it has changed my kids and their behavior and everything. because to be honest, I didn't have any type of limits for my daughter before she started there. She was kind of just doing her own thing all the time. I wasn't really focused on her. And I mean, the difference I can tell that in the program, they do give her limits and she follows now.
All I can say is that with this place being here, it's a mother like myself that has able to give my children more, if that makes sense. I had to work hard and get a job. So I had to have somebody, be with my child. I'd rather have teachers, amazing women that are willing to sit there and help guide my kids learn the right way, the please and thank yous, knowing what life is in general. So I think, if people were to donate to keep, this place keep going, other people like me that were in a tough bind can come and reach out and get the help that they wanted. And
I think that was wonderful. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you. Jocelyn, I'll turn to you next.
You're helping out little children that, honestly, if you're in this program, it's because your child needs help, the family needs help with in life. It's because it's people trying to help you out to be successful in life. So, I mean, why shouldn't you donate for people that need that help, that don't get it easy in life?
If you don't know about Metropolitan, take a look at what we offer, what we can do not only for children, but also for families. It is a great help, and you learn a lot of new things.
Honestly, I've heard of Metropolitan years ago with my other kids, but I never really got involved until I was approached with it a couple years ago. And I didn't realize how much they help the community. Like, I'm in Bensonville, and I did not know how much that they give back to the community. Like, they start with the community first and then spread out, right? And when I got part of Metropolitan, I said, wow, I never saw this side of my community before. I didn't know that this existed. Like, I've heard of it, but it wasn't like a whole, oh, this is exactly what we do type of thing. But once you're in it, I said, wow, all this time, this was in my own backyard where I could have gotten help. And they don't just help with like resources for families as well too, like the schools, the Head Start, early Head Start with the children, daycare as well. They do so much. And had I known before, I would have jumped into this a long time ago. But I think it really just starts in your own backyard. If you can help your own town, your community, if your town is a very close town where they take care of each other, and you have, companies or organizations like this, that's the word I'm looking for, organizations like this that help, then I would definitely donate in your own backyard. Why not? We're all neighbors. We see each other. We run into each other at stores. Why not help somebody in need? We're all going to struggle at some point in our lives, whether we lost a job, lost death in the family. We're all going to struggle at some point in our life, but why not have it in your own community where they can help build you back up to get you back on track and get you moving forward?
Wonderful. All of you, you're amazing is what you are. You really are. It's been my pleasure. I want to thank each of you who were so willing to share your stories and, quite frankly, personal aspects of your lives, so that others can know the good things that are going on and how people are caring for each other. So from my heart, thank you. Thank you very much. You're an inspiration, each and every one of you, in your own way in what you're doing. Mostly, I think the simple thing somebody mentioned earlier is caring for each other and loving each other. And that's so important. So my thanks to all of you for being part of this evening, to you, Nicole, to Hannah, to Tanya, to Jocelyn. Thank you very much for being part of this panel discussion. And also for those of you who are watching this, we want to thank you too. Thank you for spending the time with us here, your willingness to listen to the great things that are going on at Metropolitan Family Services DuPage, and how the work is being done to build and support families, and all of us need it. That's absolutely true. Hope you've enjoyed our discussion this evening, and thanks so much to you for being a part of this as well.